Did you know that over 2,000 adverse reactions to worming treatments are reported to the Veterinary Medicines Directorate in the UK every year? And that's just the cases that we know about. If you're still giving your dog worming tablets every month, just in case, this video might change how you think about parasite prevention for good. I'm going to show you a smarter, safer and more targeted way to protect your dog without overloading them with unnecessary chemicals. Thank you, Reggie. I'm Laura, I run a natural dog treat business and I help new owners figure things out. If you're unsure whether you should be giving your dog a monthly wormer, relying on natural methods or doing something in between, this video will give you some clarity. What is a worm count? A worm count, also called a fecal egg count, is a lab test that checks your dog's stool for signs of intestinal worms and worm eggs. Instead of treating on guesswork, you test first and only treat if worms are found. It's non-invasive, easy to do at home and helps you to avoid unnecessary medication. Why I recommend worm counts over routine wormers. Chemical worming products are designed to kill parasites and they're effective when needed, but they're also powerful chemicals that can disrupt your dog's gut health, trigger side effects, and over time contribute to parasite resistance. If your dog doesn't have worms, there's no reason to expose them to those chemicals. It's a bit like taking antibiotics when you don't have an infection. Not necessary and not ideal for long-term health. Plus, worms are becoming resistant to overexposure of these chemical wormers. Worm counts give you evidence, so you're making informed decisions, not just ticking a box. As you probably know, I've got two dogs, Dolly and Reggie, who's run off. Dolly's nearly 9 and has never had worms. I test her every 6 months with a worm count and every single one has come back clear. That's 9 years of worming tablets she could have had but didn't need. Reggie, on the other hand, is a bit more of a scavenger. He's had worms twice. He's 5, but we've caught that through regular testing, and both times I treated him naturally using grapefruit seed extract and it worked well. I do have a video on grapefruit seed extract which I will link for you here. It's a personal choice. Some owners will opt for veterinary wormers instead, and that's fine. The key is we treated only when it was necessary. There are different types of worm counts available, and at Dragonfly we offer 3 types of worm count kits. An intestinal worm count, which checks for roundworm, hookworm, whipworm, tapeworm and others in the gut. Lungworm count kits detect lungworm, which can be serious and is more common in certain UK areas. Then we do a combo kit which tests for both intestinal and lungworm in one go. So this is your worm count kit. This is a combo worm count kit. So this is for intestinal worms and for lungworms. So inside your box, you have got treats, because everyone needs treats. And then this is your inner bag and your worm count test form. So inside the bag has everything that you need to complete your worm count kit. So you have got disposable gloves. You've got 4 packets. Now you've got 3 black backed packets. Those are for your lungworm samples. And then you've got a silver backed packet. That is for your intestinal worm. Then you've got spoons in case you need to scoop up the poo with a spoon. Personally, I just use the disposable gloves and pick up the poo because my dogs are raw fed. Their poo is quite solid, but if your dog's poo is softer, you may want to use the spoons. And then you've got your free post label that you put everything inside and send back to the lab. So first thing I like to do is fill in my form. So you need to fill in everything that is on this form. So the date, your name, your dog's name, age of dog, as much information as you can. Remember to put your email address on because this is where your results will be sent to. Make sure you include that. That is really important and the thing that most often gets forgotten. And then you get your sample. So how I do it, I take the first poo of the day to do my intestinal worm sample and my first lungworm sample. 1 poo will do both of these. I'm using Weetabix mix because I feel like you don't need a close-up of dog poo to see me showing you an example of how much to put in. So this is a delicious Weetabix mix. You need approximately that much poo. It really isn't a massive amount. Do not overfill these pouches. The lab have requested that you only use a teaspoonful amount. You collect the poo and you pop it into the pouch. So that literally is as much poo as is required. So I would take the first poo of the day and split it into these 2, and then I know those 2 are done. For me, my dogs generally poo twice a day, so I would be able to fill up my next lungworm one on the same day. And then the following morning, generally speaking, I would do my third lungworm one. Then they're all good to go. If it's warm, I would recommend storing your poo samples while you're waiting to collect them all, either in a Tupperware in the fridge or in a cool, dry place. Once you've got all your samples collected, you've got your filled in form, you then pop everything into the inner envelope, seal that up, and then get your outer envelope, which has got the free post mailer on, and pop your samples in there. Seal that up, and you can take that to the post office. You can't put these into the post box, they have to go to the post office. Make sure that you take a note of that tracking number. If your samples go missing or you forget to put your form in, the lab using that tracking number will be able to find out where your samples have gone. So that is really important to make a note of that before you post it. And that's how you actually do your worm count. It's super simple, super quick. How often should you test? There's no strict rule, but here's what I would recommend. So low risk dogs, raw fed, not scavengers, no exposure to foxes or snails, every 6 to 12 months. Higher risk dogs, scavengers, high fox and snail exposure, every 3 to 6 months. As long as you're not worming routinely, testing regularly gives you peace of mind and protects your dog's health. Personally, I alternate between the combo and the intestinal only kits. For example, I'll do a combo count, then 6 months later do an intestinal, and then back to combo again. You can do whatever frequency works for you. Some customers do one every 3 months, others just once or twice a year. What about fur as a natural wormer? I hear this often. I feed rabbit ears with fur, doesn't that prevent worms? Feeding fur is a great addition to a diet. It may help physically sweep the gut lining and support digestive health, but it's not a proven wormer and it shouldn't replace proper testing. I feed fur to my dogs a few times a week, but I still do regular worm counts. Think of fur as supportive, not preventative. What happens if worms are found? If worms are detected, we'll email you a report explaining what's been found, identifying the exact type, e.g. tapeworm or hookworm. You then have the choice. You treat with conventional worming product via your vet, using the test results to guide them, or you use a natural alternative depending on the severity and your dog's individual needs. If your dog's sample is clear, that's it. There's no need to treat. You just plan your next test for 3 to 6 months' time. And we'll even remind you, we offer a worm count test reminder service. So 3 months after your test, we'll send you a gentle email reminder in case you'd like to retest. You can also subscribe and have kits posted automatically every 3 to 6 to 12 months. Worm counts are simple, affordable, and give you a real insight into your dog's health. They help you avoid unnecessary chemicals while still protecting your dog from genuine parasite risks. It's one of the easiest, most empowering changes you can make as a dog owner. Test first and treat only when needed. If you've got any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. I am always happy to help. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.